Gear up, flaps up. Coming back to half power. One thing I enjoy about this airplane, it flies very precise. As you can tell by its airframe design, it's very reminiscent of an old BVM Bandit. People say it looks a lot like a scale F5. What I enjoy about this, even though it is foam, Freewing has done a good job with their type of foam that they use, in that it's very rigid. Going to full power and back to idle. Still at idle. Now I'm back to 1/3 throttle. So the 45 is a very excellent power plant for this plane. Plenty of power. Like I said, it's a very fun plane. As many of you know who already own the electric Zues, and I also own the 8S EDF Zues, flies exactly the same. It just has that much more authority and power because of the turbine. I'll put it into partial flap, and you'll get it in some slow flight here. And here I'm flying at about 40% throttle with partial flap. Going to full flap. And still at about 40% power.
John, did you have to do any changes to the plane from the time you got it to where it is now?
I did not, because I wanted to review the plane stock out of the box, and surprisingly enough, it's amazing. They did a great job with their R&D, and I would not have any problem flying this exactly right out of the box per their settings.
What's your flight time on this?
I have it set for 7 minutes and probably land with 30% of the fuel left.
What type of batteries do you use in this plane?
I'm using a 2200 2S for the turbine, because the Zykoy ECU uses a 2S LiPo. And then I'm running a 3S into the built-in BEC. This aircraft comes with factory BECs that already has the regulation for the 6 volts for the servo, and then 7.2 volts for the landing gear. So it sounds like my timer's getting ready to go, so I'll set the gear down.
Landing gear down. 30 seconds.
I have time, so I'm going to do a dirty pass for you, Russ.
All right.
So let me get it down here, and then I'll...
20 seconds. Seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yeah, but you rewired the rewired new Crow.
The honest truth is I would take their gyro out and put my stabilized receiver in it and then split. The problem with it is they use that multi-function box, and it's one channel for both ailerons, one channel for both elevators, and I like to run differential in the ailerons and as well as crow, and that would prevent that landing.
So what do you think about the one that comes in it that Motion provides?
It's great because it saves you money, right? Instead of buying a stabilized receiver, which can be, what, 100 plus?
Yeah.
You can buy just a standard receiver that's $40 and just use their, so for cost efficiency, just run what they give you. But for like a precise pilot where I have different requirements, I want it a little bit tighter than what they provide. A good example is, I don't know if you noticed, but I had to really milk the braking because their brake controller, even though it does have some ABS, it still doesn't stop dead straight like an AG product, an AG 61, 63, 68. And I would prefer to have that retrack braking stabilization system in it. So those are the two things I would change. I want to run my stabilization, my gyro, not theirs, and then my brake controller rather than theirs. But
so as someone who's running the larger EDF planes and going into a turbine, what would you say like the easiness is of it for a setup for someone who this will be their first time?
I think it's an excellent, perfect transition if you've already flown EDF, and you don't have to fly the Zues EDF. Anything, if you're flying an Avanti, a 7mm, a Viper jet, this is a great transition. First of all, what they'll notice is the power. Turbine just has that much more power, even over an 8S 80mm system. The flight time is so much better. I just landed and I flew for, I would say that flight in total with an extra takeoff and landing was about 7.5 minutes. And it easily looks like I have 25% of the main tank still full. Of course, the UAT is still full. It flies a little bit heavier than an EDF. I'm not sure what the total weight is versus this on the electric version of the Zues, but because you have the turbine power, it by no means is difficult to fly or heavy. It is fast, and it can get small, but that's what the red paint scheme is excellent for that, because my other Zues is blue, and even as an EDF, sometimes it's hard to see.